Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today, Frontier have revealed a whole bunch of new information, including concepts, footage and images for Chapter 4. This all comes from Lavecon, where there was a Frontier panel, and the information here focuses on some pretty fantastic sneak peeks for Chapter 4. In particular, they went into detail on improvements to mining, exploration as well as changes to the graphics, and I must say they all appear pretty significant improvements. There were, of course, a few details for Chapter 2 as well. So let's then take a closer look at all of this new information. Mining, as it stands right now, is a fairly basic process. This is something that is going to dramatically change with Chapter 4, where they will introduce a variety of new mining tools which will totally overhaul the mining process. Firstly, there will be new methods for detecting the value of an asteroid, along with the type of things the asteroid contains. The manner in which this detection would actually work hasn't been detailed just yet. However, once scanned, there will be 3 different options for mining an asteroid. Surface mining will allow you to collect deposits from the surface of an asteroid. The nature of these deposits wasn't detailed. However, it was made clear that the player will need to be very careful when mining the surface elements from an asteroid, as they are likely to be delicate and could potentially be destroyed. This then implies that the player will need skill to be involved in order to mine from the surface. Mining below the surface of an asteroid is the second stage, and this appears as though it will be very similar to the current mining process, and from what I understand, this will require a mining laser. Deep core mining, though, is by far the most interesting aspect of the mining changes. Deep core mining will involve blowing an asteroid apart, and Frontier showed some concepts of this in action. This clip right here, for example, will show just how an asteroid will actually break apart. Now, along with mining becoming more involved, there will be increased danger to the whole mining activity. Previously, the only danger in mining came from potential pirates, NPC or otherwise, and these could often be driven off fairly easily. In Chapter 4, dangers will arrive in more direct ways. Mining has, historically after all, been a dangerous and harsh job, and this will now be extended into Elite Dangerous. For example, when mining an asteroid and it breaks apart, it's possible that chunks may hit your ship. Asteroids will also likely produce dust, which will interfere with your ship and its sensors. It's also possible that the contents of an asteroid may be corrosive, or alternative, the contents of the asteroid may be volatile and explode. Whilst there will be danger there, it won't all be entirely random. With experience, the player will be able to figure out and predict when dangerous moments are likely to occur. The game will also offer a number of tools to help avert or mitigate any danger. So, with increased danger and increased work, Frontier have stated that mining will also come with vastly increased rewards. They didn't specify any numbers, of course, but mining perhaps has a real opportunity to become very profitable and maybe even offer a full gold rush. What's more, mining resources will be more valuable in unexplored regions of space, so it's far more likely that you will find rarer items out there. I also have a bit of additional information that wasn't covered in the live stream, and I'll talk about that right here. Frontier would like mining to attract pirates, and this therefore would add an additional layer of danger, including the risk of combat. Whether this would be more likely inside inhabited space and less likely outside of it remains to be seen. There's nothing specific on this at the moment, however, as it may or may not happen. Mining is still being worked on after all. Also, mining states will likely be persistent. Now, whilst that isn't actually guaranteed at the moment, it is nonetheless something Frontier strongly want to happen, and they are currently looking at ways to actively implement persistent mining resources. Now, another big change with Chapter 4 is exploration. And the first thing that Frontier were keen to stress here is that they don't want to take anything away from exploration. So this seems to indicate that the Discovery Scanner will still continue to reveal all planets in a star system. It also means that the detailed surface scanner will continue to reveal details about the planetary makeup, just as it currently does. What's new, however, is that exploration, just like mining, will become far more involved. Again, just like with mining, you will do this through the use of new tools. The tools will arrive in the form of new probes that can be deployed both towards planets as well as into ring systems. Deploying them into ring systems will enable the player to locate valuable resources for mining, and deploying them into or around planets will reveal surface data that will be fed back to the player's ship. Now, Frontier are aiming to place an element of skill to this, and that means whilst you can simply blindly fire a probe directly at a planet, this will be far from the optimal method. Gravity and planetary size will play a big part in the new discovery tools, and the player will be able to take advantage of these by firing probes into the gravity wells of planets and moons and then using that to slingshot the probe around the planet. This will allow the probe to be more effective and will mean that you will be able to detail the planet's surface with fewer probes, so skill will certainly play a factor. Now once a planet's surface has been mapped, the player will be able to pass the data in order to locate sites of interest. Some planets will be barren, other planets will contain interesting things. These will be broken down into different categories such as geological, biological and phenomena. Frontier have also since confirmed that the data from the probes would be displayed directly inside the ship's cockpit, and this means that players won't have to go into a separate Galnet-style menu. Now when these objects are located, the player will then be able to use onboard systems to guide their ship towards the discoveries. This then will completely remove the old need of flying over the surface of planets and eyeballing them in the hopes of locating things. Whilst the old method has worked, and both individual players as well as groups such as Canon have done remarkable things with locating objects, the new tools will nonetheless open up exploration to everyone. The new discoveries will not merely be limited to planetary surfaces, however. There will also be things in space to locate, and here is one example. Things such as this are classified as phenomena, and I've got to admit this looks very, very impressive and makes great use of the new visuals. For now, Frontier do not have an extensive list of all the phenomena that will be available. They did say that things such as comets, however, may not arrive in Chapter 4, but they're very adamant that things will continue to be added into the future. Additionally, in Chapter 4, the galaxy is going to be divided up into regions. Now, it wasn't clear whether Frontier meant physically dividing the galaxy up into regions, or more whether it means marking on the galaxy map. Either way, details were not that forthcoming. The implication here, however, would suggest that we might be seeing a number of changes or improvements to the galaxy map itself. It was also mentioned that eventually they want to make exploration ships more specialised, and this would work much in the same way that combat ships are now specialised, where they have combat module slots, and passenger ships are specialised where they have passenger module slots. And after all, with the arrival of new exploration tools, this would only make complete sense. One of the big aspects of Chapter 4 will be some great improvements to graphics, and these will be coming in the form of new lighting systems. Right here you can see before and after screenshots. They give us a feel for what the graphic changes will actually do. The main aim here is to give the game a different feel and a different mood depending on the location you're in. In fact, Frontier specifically mentioned that the lighting changes are very much about improvements to environments and giving them distinctive looks. To that end, lighting will become far more adaptive and will be affected by other things going on within the environment. The lighting in the stations and on planet surfaces gives a good indication of this. Now, in addition to lighting, there's also going to be a new colour grading system. Again, this seems to be aimed at making coloration look different depending on the environment. Clearly then, this is a lot of work and speaks volumes about the future direction Frontier are planning on taking Elite in. Specifically, in my opinion, adaptive lighting and colour grading would be essential for atmospheric worlds, for example. However, there's no words on that particular subject. Frontier also showed off two other areas of the game. Now, you may remember the image from the Frontier Expo of 2017, which was a target render of the new ice worlds. And the plan is to get ice worlds looking like this when Chapter 4 arrives. So right here, Frontier gave a sneak peek on their current progress towards that aim. This shows off the new ice shaders, and they actually look very, very nice, don't they? Now, the sharp cliffs and the overhangs are missing from this, however, Frontier have assured that those things will be coming in Chapter 4. So, with all these graphical improvements, you may be expecting a massive performance hit, but what's really interesting about all this is that Frontier stated there will be a 0 hit to performance. So yeah, that's a massive achievement in and of itself, isn't it? Finally then, there was also a number of reveals for Chapter 2, which is arriving at the end of this month. However, I want to stick to Chapter 4 content in this particular video, and I'll be talking about the other details in the next video. So do be sure to leave your comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about all these reveals. What aspect are you particularly looking forward to? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.